Hello and welcome to another Mastery Path Connections interview. I'm Debra Sofia Magdalene and I'm doing a series of interviews with female entrepreneurs who are making money whilst travelling. And today I'm delighted to welcome Andrea Jordan. Andrea, welcome to the call.
Thank you very much.
If you could start off by giving us some background information, including where you're from and where you are now, and also your age.
So I'm from New Zealand originally, and for the last year I've been putting my business in my backpack and traveling throughout Latin America. I decided to mix things up on the weekend, and I'm now up on Vancouver Island house sitting for the next month. And my age is 45.
Wonderful, because we've got women of all different ages listening into these interviews. So it's really good for people to know how old people are when they're doing this. So you've been doing this for 12 months.
This trip, for Latin America, I've been there 12 months. My nomadic lifestyle probably started about 3 years ago. I was house sitting in New Zealand for about a year and a half before I came away on this trip.
Oh, cool. And so was it something that sort of sparked you off into this nomadic lifestyle?
I've always loved travel. I've traveled to, I think, about over 50 countries now and to all 7 continents. So when I started to set up my business, I had in the back of my mind that I'd like it to be location independent, whether that meant that I could live rurally in New Zealand. I grew up on a farm, so I've always wanted to go back to the land, or just have the freedom to be able to take my business with me when I traveled.
That's brilliant. So how have you gone about doing that, and what is your business? What do you do?
I'm a business strategist. In my previous life, I was a corporate lawyer, and I did that for about 17 years, both in New Zealand and in London, and decided that I wanted a different lifestyle. So I retrained at the time as a life coach because I wanted a balance between the very technical business skills that I had and more of the softer skills. And then I've combined everything together into business strategy, and I work mainly with creative entrepreneurs.
Oh, that's brilliant. And so as a business strategist, what sort of work do you do with people? Is it helping them to get clear on what they want to do and then find a way through that? Or what?
Yeah, people normally come to me, they already have a business or they have a very strong idea, but they're not really sure of the next steps, or they've started to take the steps and then got so overwhelmed that there are so many things that they need to talk to someone and just plan things out so that they don't spend months or years feeling stuck or just going in the wrong direction. So I really just help them get a bit more of a plan in place, and so that they're spending their time on the right things.
So it's very different from being a corporate lawyer.
It's funny, it is in a way, but then it's actually quite similar. I found being a corporate lawyer, I was using my organisation skills there because I was involved in listing companies on the stock exchange and mergers and acquisitions. And we would have maybe 70 odd documents for each transaction that various parties had to put together. And I was in charge of making sure everything happened. So I've just taken those organisation skills in a way and translated them into a different kind of business. And what I also do as a lawyer is get used to asking very good questions. To be able to provide the best advice, I need to know certain things. And so that skill of asking good questions has been really helpful in my business strategy work, because sometimes people will come to me and say, it's my website, that's the problem. But after digging down a little bit, it's really not the website at all. It's something else that they're struggling with. So there's quite a few crossovers between the two careers.
And this is what I love, because people can be in many different roles, but they've got these transferable skills that they can bring into a new business and create
Sure.
what they've already got. And I think you're a great example of that. What challenges have you come across whilst you've been living this nomadic lifestyle, and how have you overcome them?
Gosh, let me think. There are always little challenges, particularly with technology. So trying to find Wi-Fi when I'm in a small village in Guatemala, that can be a challenge. When my hard drives decide to stop working because I've done a Windows 10 upgrade. They're just little things that really can feel annoying at the time that I just keep chipping away at. There's always a solution, maybe not the one that you thought. So with Wi-Fi, maybe I find a cafe that I can go to. Maybe there's some way I can boost the signal where I'm staying. So there are lots of little challenges like that, and they're just a daily thing of having to move around. The bigger challenges, I guess, I think when you start in business, it is the best personal development that you'll ever get, because every doubt that you had just in your normal everyday life will come up within your business. So if you have a bad day, you can lose your confidence and self-doubt can creep in. So it is a constant awareness and strengthening of your confidence in yourself and in your abilities. And I think that's been an interesting challenge to keep on top of, because as a lawyer, I know that I can do a good job. I've just got years of experience and I've just got complete faith that I can do that. But when you start something new, you have to find ways to boost up your confidence.
Yeah, that's really, really good. And I had technology problems as well when I was in South America. And what happened was I lost the URL from my website, and it was actually registered to an old email address that I didn't have access to anymore. So I never got the notifications through. And what I found is that as you said, there's always a solution, but it taught me patience, and it taught me about doing things one step at a time and not getting overwhelmed with things.
Sure. And sometimes chocolate is helpful in those situations.
Definitely, especially raw chocolate. So what's the highlight of this lifestyle for you, Andrea?
Oh, sorry, could you just repeat that question?
What's the highlight or highlights of this lifestyle?
Oh gosh, so many highlights. That's hard. I think for me, the big thing that I wanted from this lifestyle was freedom in terms of location and time independence as well. So those are highlights. And then there are just daily highlights. I've only just arrived in Canada. I've been here maybe 3 nights. And the other day I looked out my window and there was a wild deer just wandering across the lawn. I'm also a photographer, so love being in nature. So having the opportunity to have wildlife just wandering across my back lawn is fabulous. I've just come from Mexico where I had 3 months there, and met some wonderful people and got to house sit, look after some lovely animals. And then I'm surrounded by an incredible culture, the food, the street art. So yeah, there have been so many highlights.
Oh, wonderful. And do you create an income from your photography as well?
Do I?
Create an income from your photography?
I did when I was in New Zealand, but I haven't while I've been traveling. I've been focusing on my business strategy work, but I'm starting to use my photography more now on my website, whereas in the past I used sort of stock photos, but just now my nature photography is coming into my website, and I am thinking this month or next month I'm going to start offering images of the travels for sale as a starting point.
How do you decide where you're going to go next?
It can be quite random. So when I first started, I was in Mexico, and I volunteer at animal shelters as I travel. So I'll start looking at different areas and looking for sort of the lifestyle. So the Wi-Fi connection is good, easy to get around, whether there's an animal shelter nearby. And places like Guatemala and Uruguay and Nicaragua, I never really intended on going, but as I got chatting to people, I heard really good things and thought, well, while I'm here, I may as well go and check them out. So there are some places that are just very random, and then others that I've always wanted to go to, like Argentina with the beautiful mountains, and I just wanted to see some of that scenery.
Yeah, Guatemala is a gorgeous country. I spent some time there in 2012. We were around Lake Atitlan.
Yeah, I was there for 3 months.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I house sat for 6 weeks and then rented an apartment for the rest of the time.
Fabulous, fabulous. Is this a lifestyle that you'd recommend to other people?
I think that would very much depend. I mean, I know it's very exciting when you see people's Instagram feeds and they're on the beach on their laptops, but that really isn't life for the majority of digital nomads. So please be very careful about those perfect Instagram feeds. I think it really comes down to the individual and looking at what you want to get out of the nomadic lifestyle. Like for me, I stay in each place for a minimum of a month, so I can get to know the place. I wouldn't want to be moving around every 2 or 3 days. I'd find that too disruptive, but someone else might really love that. I have friends who stay a minimum of 3 months in each place and they travel with their little dog. So that's a different style of doing things as well. So I think if you're thinking about doing a nomadic lifestyle like this, really have a think about what might suit you. Would you be happier renting an apartment in 3 different places for your year and really getting to know an area, or do you want to travel a lot? And then be prepared to change. I had a period in Argentina where I was moving around quite a bit, and I found that really exhausting. So I came back to my 1 or 2 months in a place. So I think getting to know what your preferences are is the best thing before you start.
Yeah, and do you mainly do house sits?
No, in South America, house sitting isn't very well known. So when I was in Argentina and Uruguay, I was renting apartments through Airbnb. And then in Central America, I did a couple of house sits, but I really wanted to go to certain places at certain times. And that doesn't always work with house sitting, given that you've got no control over, when things come up. So I do very much mix it up between doing a house sit if it's the right timing and location I want to go to, and renting apartments.
And through having this lifestyle, what have you learned about yourself?
Gosh, lots of things. I am capable of a lot. So with every, say, house that I come to, there's always new challenges. There are a few challenges where I currently am. And it just reminds me how capable I can be and how I can figure out anything if I put my mind to it. And I think that's the main thing. It's just reminding me of things that maybe had got a little lost when I was in the corporate world, because that's quite a different type of capable that I needed when I was, being a lawyer.
Yeah. And what would Andrea's top tips be for anybody who's thinking of having this lifestyle?
I think it comes back to what I said before. Think about who you are and what would suit you. If you're more of a homebody, and I can be that person at times, I'm not always this crazy adventurer going and doing all these things, and you really want to travel, then think about doing it in a different way. I mean, if you could have 3 months in Paris and then 3 months in London, that might really suit you, whereas other people would just love 6 months off the grid in Costa Rica. So have a look at all those photos that you're seeing and think about what it is that's exciting you on those particular things. And so I think about really personalizing what you actually want. That would be my main tip.
Yeah. And what about how can people get hold of you? If they're interested in looking at your website and social media sites, how do you hang out online?
Sure. So my website is called learndiscoverbefree.com. You can find me on Facebook at Andrea Jordan Business Strategist. And I'm also on Instagram as Traveling Jordan. And my Instagram is mainly sort of behind the scenes. It's my photos of my travel adventures. So those are the 3 main places you can find me.
So the first one was learndiscoverbefree.com. Then it's Andrea Jordan Strategist on Facebook. And remind me of the third one.
Sorry, the second one was Andrea Jordan Business Strategist. That's my handle on Facebook. That's my Facebook page. Yeah. And then Instagram is Traveling Jordan. So Jordan is my surname.
Lovely. Well, Andrea, thank you so much for your time today. I think it's so inspirational to come across somebody into this life of freedom. How long do you see yourself traveling this way?
It's completely open-ended. I go through phases of really missing New Zealand and really missing having my own home. So I don't have a set date. I know that I'm here for a month, and then I'm going down to the Olympic Peninsula for a month, and then I have no plans beyond that. So it's very flexible.
And have you kept a base in New Zealand?
No, I don't. I don't have a home address anymore.
So what did you do with all your stuff when you left?
I had very little stuff. So when I was house sitting for the year and a half before I left, I started to thin down the possessions that I had. And I've never been a person who has a lot of stuff. I basically have a one in, one out rule. It started with clothes when I was in London and had a small wardrobe, and now it pretty much applies to everything. And so I have maybe 10 boxes, I think, of past sort of travel purchases that are in a storage unit, and that's everything that I have.
So that's a really good tip. One in, one out, minimalist lifestyle.
Yeah, and especially when I'm carrying everything in my backpack, you do not want to have that many things.
I completely agree. I completely agree. So thank you so much for your time. It's been delightful talking with you today. And thank you for your time to inspire other ladies that are planning on doing the same.
My pleasure.
Yeah, if anybody's listening in, they want to check out other interviews with entrepreneurs, if you go on to Mastery Path's YouTube channel, there's a playlist on there called Ladies Make Money Whilst Travelling, so you can catch up with the other interviews. So bye everybody, thanks for now.